Hi, I'm Alex Teplish, author of the graphic novel In the Beginning, the Epic of the Anunnaki. I am honored to be participating in this centennial event and grateful to everyone watching. Almost 25 years ago, I discovered the Earth Chronicles series, written by world-renowned author Zecharia Sitchin. I also had the opportunity to attend his lecture in New York City and briefly communicated with him on a potential documentary. I learned that aside from our interest in ancient civilizations and extraterrestrials, we were also both of Jewish ancestry and born in the former Soviet Union, eventually living in New York City. I was motivated by the fact that his first book was published while he was in his 50s, showing me that it is never too late to start something new, especially when one is passionate about the subject. The amount of research he put into his books were impressive and astounding, which inspired me to get deeper into the subject of the ancient astronaut hypothesis. While I realized that his theories may not be 100% correct, as with any theory, I recognized that he was onto something earth-shattering. Similar to Sitchin, at a young age, I attended religious studies and was exposed to the marvelous stories of the Bible. While I did not become religiously observant or a believer in the literal text, I felt that there was much more to these stories and a reason that they have lasted this long into our modern society. There are countless anomalies, descriptions of fantastic devices, beings, and events in the biblical text as well as other sacred texts found around the world. Sitchin's research has opened up the worlds of archaeology, astronomy, genetics, ancient civilizations, mythology, and much more for me and many others. Through my own research, I was able to find the commonalities within major ancient civilizations that have had the biggest impact on modern culture around the world. Most of these civilizations are not known to have had much or any connection to one another. In one example, the Sumerian Kings List, found in present-day Iraq and dating back to at least 2000 BC, describes an age prior to a great flood where gods and demigods ruled and lived for thousands of years. The Sumerians possessed advanced knowledge in writing, mathematics, astronomy, and much more, describing this knowledge and kingship as being handed down from the gods. They also mention how the gods created mankind as workers and the god Enki warning Ziusudra to build a large boat to survive a great flood, a direct parallel to Noah's Ark in the Old Testament. According to some Vedic scholars and Sanskrit writings from present-day India, dating as far back as 1500 BC, but possibly older, the Vedas describe yugas, or ages, based on a period of revolution of the sun around a dark companion, with humanity currently in the fourth age, known as Kali Yuga. In the previous Yuga, the Dwapara Yuga, normal human stature was said to be taller, with average human lifespans at approximately 1,000 years, and even longer lifespans in a prior age. According to the Vedas, humans interacted with gods. A great flood is described as the destruction and end of the last Yuga. Mayan traditions, as described in the Popol Vuh from present-day Mexico and much of Central America, and dating back to 2600 BC, describe humanity currently being in the fourth world and various accounts of a great flood that wiped out the previous world. It also describes the first three creations that the gods failed in, making and the creation of the successful fourth world where men were placed. Hopi legend stemming from the present-day Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado, and dating back to 1300 CE, tells that the current Earth is the fourth world, and the third world as being destroyed in a great flood. Before the destruction, it is said, spider grandmothers sealed the more righteous people into hollow reeds, which were used as boats. Hopis believe that the blue star Kachina will signify the coming of the end of the next world by appearing in the form of a blue star. Many more similarities exist, including hundreds of flood myths and biblical parallels, possibly stemming from the last ice age. I believe that the truth lies within these commonalities. While Sitchin's books were jam-packed with valuable information, I understand that only a tiny fraction of the population would ever look into them, so I decided to adapt the research into the form of a graphic novel titled In the Beginning, the Epic of the Anunnaki. This project would be a storyboard for an eventual film or series, but also a visualization of how it all may have taken place in our ancient past. My graphic novel was not meant to replace the detailed research books by Sitchin, which I highly recommend to all, but instead expose the subject to a wider audience and become a visual supplement for the theory. On this centennial, I'd like to thank Zecharia Sitchin for inspiring me and countless others on this journey in the search for truth, and celebrate his life's accomplishments. Similar to Sitchin, I have continued to research these subjects, explore ancient sites and artifacts on my own, which I have shared with the audience on my book's Facebook page. As more people become engaged with this content, we can reveal the topic to a global audience and work together to discover the truth of our common origins. The time has come where we as humanity must explore the commonalities among the ancient legends, myths, and beliefs, as well as ourselves, rather than war over our differences. Within these similar aspects, we will find a path towards truth, much greater than the polarities we have been stuck on for eons. Let us continue to collaborate while we keep it positive, as we are all one human race on this planet. Thank you.